Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to Ibro Up to Date at 1. It is the 19th of April 2019 and today it is a festive day. Welcome to the program. We have a lot lined up here for you and we begin on that note where on such days as this, we'd expect main Matatu Termini to be a beehive of activities with city dwellers traveling up country. That is, however, not the case with a few who are however, not the case traveling with experiencing a shortage of vehicles and hiked bus fares. This might have been occasioned by the ever-soaring cost of life. Now, as you can see behind me, our reporter Alan Ochanda is joining us right now. Alan, what seems to be the case around there?
A very good afternoon to you, Abdi, there in studio. Indeed, we are camping at the Machakos Country bus terminus, where we will actually expect that on such a day, travelers who actually just are applying those longer routes, just visiting the countryside, will be really camping here, just waiting for buses to ferry them. But that is not actually the case today, whereas as is actually just evident behind me, you can see that people are just scattered and just like any other day. But on such a day, on other holidays, you will expect that people will actually be filling this place to the brim, just catching up buses. And so we've been talking to some of the passengers who actually just expected to be traveling to the upcountry, those traveling to the western parts of Kenya, Kisii, Kisumu, Migori. And they're just saying that they are so much disappointed with the scarcity of buses that will have actually been providing transport services here. They are saying, and we also talked to the Matatu operators who are just saying that some of the buses, they actually are providing very few buses, and to that effect, just hiking bus fares to those countryside. They are saying that this has actually been occasioned by the ever skyrocketing bus petrol for the buses, and they're saying that they could not just maintain the bus fare rates of 600 to 800 or rather 900, but they have actually doubled and in some instances have just tripled the bus fares. Remember that places like Kisii or Western in Kakamega, Busia will actually cost up to 1,000 on the upper side and 700 on the lower side on such days when they're not actually festive days. But today they're actually being doubled or even in some instances being tripled. And they're saying that this is actually being occasioned by the ever-soaring prices of commodities. And so remember that whenever petroleum products have actually hiking in price, the other commodities, the basic commodities like fares, will actually just hike. This is actually just automatic. And so they are saying that they are so much disappointed and are calling with the government to just ensure that such fares actually regulated and have a flat price for all the bus fares to all the destinations in the country. And so we're keeping an eye to ensure that we visit all the other termini, especially the long distance and the longer routes to the countryside, so that we could just ensure that the country is actually brought to speed with that is actually happening on ground, to ensure that passengers just move freely and without any hitches on the roads. Abdi.
Alan, before I let you go, could you tell us about the security situation in that place? You remember that IG Mutiambai promised that security will be patrolling some of these areas.
Abdi, since morning we've actually been bumping into security officers, but I can just authoritatively report to you that there's nothing much to really cause alarm here. People are actually moving, business is actually going on as expected, as normal, and so. But due to the scarcity of the vehicles, we've also seen that some of the vehicles that just ply the Nairobi routes, like Kenya Bus, and other vehicles that ply to the shorter routes have actually now offered their services. Now they're just realizing that this is actually a moment to actually just have a boom in their business, and so they have actually now offered their buses to just ply the longer routes as opposed to their normal shorter routes. And so security is actually as normal, it's actually as always, and so there's nothing much really to cause alarm here. If you can see, people are actually just continuing with their businesses. If my cameraman could just pan here to just look at the businesses that are just going on as normal. Nothing really much going on, but it's just like any other day. As remember that on festive days, you will actually expect that this place will be filled to the park. But this day, remember that we've had a very elongated drought season. And so we'll expect that automatically the dominion effect will actually just spiral down to the basic commodities. And so people are not actually traveling as you will have actually expected. Of course, they're traveling, but not to the numbers that we actually just have expected, that they will be traveling up country. And so that is actually the situation. We are moving along, around the other bus terminal to ensure that we just catch an eye, or have an eye of exactly what is happening on ground. Abdi.
Well, thank you very much. That's our reporter, Alan Ochanda, just keeping an eye on the transport during this season. Now, moving on, still in the confines of the Easter season, safe and happy Easter holidays have been confirmed for the local, international tourists and local residents in the coastal region, as police have been deployed in various places to intensify their patrols.
Known to be a hotspot, especially the Easter holidays, the coastal city is set with security being on the radar of the police. Regional Police Boss Marcus Ochola noted that police officers have been deployed across the region to ensure local and international tourists are safe during their stay. Police will intensify their patrols at the beaches with thousands of visitors expected to visit. The beaches include Jomo Kenyatta, Mombasa, Nyali, Shelley and Diani. Officers from the GSU, regular and tourist police units, as well as those from the KWS and the Kenya Maritime Authority, have combined efforts to secure Moi International Airport, the SGR station and the Likoni Channel. Focus has also been put in the insecurity-prone areas of Lamu and Tana River counties. Kenya Coast working groups have confirmed that hotels are enjoying 90% bookings. The Easter holidays are celebrated by Christians on how Jesus Christ died and resurrected.
Now to a more tragic story. A senior police officer at the Likoni police station has killed himself after allegedly shooting dead his alleged girlfriend. The incident that took place at a bar in Mtongwe area occurred after the two engaged in a heated verbal exchange that saw the deputy OCS shot the defenseless woman.
Deputy Officer Commanding Station Joab Omonde is said to have killed himself at about 11 p.m. last night.
The information we got is that this lady is selling mokoka, and mokoka and himself as a police officer, there's nowhere to connect their meeting. So we shall now that the investigation that will be conducted by our CIT officers will tell us truly whether they were lovers or not lovers. We cannot authenticate as of now.
Confirming the incident, Likoni OCPD Benjamin Rutich, who noted that OCS Joab Omondi was a humble, quiet and down-to-earth man, a puzzle that has startled them to what would have led to his death, claiming that the lady was not his lover.
We started our investigation. Our CID team is on the ground to find out what really transpired within him and what he did.
However, Rotich confirmed that investigations into the matter had started and more details regarding to his death of the OCS, who is also a family man, is completed. The OCS, Joab Omonde, is said to have been served by a Miss Kaimenyi Penina when he picked a quarrel with her at 11:40 p.m. yesterday night at Lovely Bar in Mutongwe in Likoni after having a quarrel with her before OCS Omonde whipped out his Saska pistol and shot her. The bodies of the two have since then been moved to Coast General Hospital mortuary. Detectives who went into the scene recovered the pistol with 11 bullets. The motive of the shooting is yet to be established. Milia Kisienya for Abru TV.
Now coming back to the city, the Anti-Counterfeit Authority has confiscated counterfeit Samsung phones plus accessories worth over 10 million shillings and arrested 7 people. The sting operation led by inspectors from the Anti-Counterfeit Authority raided several mobile phone outlets in downtown Nairobi in Fangano Street and seized 213 counterfeit mobile phones. The street is graded as a notorious hotspot for selling counterfeits in the city. The operation, which was conducted in collaboration with the Anti-Illicit Trade Agency Limited, the appointed Samsung Brand Protection Agency. The raid was carried out based on a tip-off received by the agency from the Anti-Illicit Trade Company team, as well as the public regarding counterfeit models in the street. 7 shopkeepers were arrested during the raid. The estimated value of the seizure is based on the present market price of the original version. In a statement sent out to newsrooms, the director of Anti-Illicit Trade Company, Mr. Peter Mutula, said the counterfeit concealed the Samsung brand to avoid higher tax brackets from the customs authority, while at the same time infringing on the Samsung trademark at the selling level. We have received particular information that there are stores selling counterfeit phones and other pasting fake stickers of Samsung brand on the body of the mobile phone. We have seized 213 mobile handsets and over 1,000 duplicate mobile telephone accessories, including chargers, said Mr. Tom Mutelli, the Chief Public Communication Officer from the Anti-Counterfeit Authority. Traders were also warned against importation of counterfeit products into the Kenyan market, as the Anti-Counterfeit Act 2008 prohibits trade in counterfeit. The traders will be charged with possession of counterfeit goods for purposes of sale. If convicted of counterfeiting, the suspects shall serve an imprisonment term not exceeding 5 years or a fine of a minimum of 3 times the retail value of goods or both. Now let's head over to West Pokot County, where teachers in West Pokot County have threatened to down their tools and paralyze learning when schools resume if the government insists on the 1.5% housing levy to fund the affordable housing project. The teachers are also demanding a review of their salaries.
Speaking in Kapenguria, the teachers through the Kenya National Union of Teachers in the county opposed the housing levy, stating that the move was illegal and unacceptable.
We are saying no more taxation to our payslips until 2021, when we will sit down for the next CPA. And the next CPA, again, we are warning the government, it must run according to the international standard, whereby a CPA will only take 2 years. This one we have been conned.
West Pokot NAT Secretary Martin Sembelo said there should have been consultations between the Teacher Service Commission, NAT, and the government.
They not deduct 1.5%. We are going to lack manners and misbehave to the brim to make sure that we are not going to open schools. Come opening of the schools, there is no teacher who is going to report in any classroom.
Sembelo says the only way teachers will support the scheme is if their collective bargaining agreement is reviewed to enhance their salaries to cushion them against the extra tax.
Kwani pesa mnaharakisha kufanya namna gani? By the way, there are no structures which has been put in place to man this kitty. This one is subject for any corruption any moment, any time.
They also opposed the government move to train teachers on the new curriculum during the Easter holidays and weekends, saying that they would not participate.
We are human beings, we need to rest. Why are they putting us under pressure? Teachers are being put under pressure all the days. Why?
Elsewhere, Deputy President William Ruto is calling on parents to ensure that they don't abdicate their responsibilities, especially for children in schools away from home. Being the highest-ranking official to pronounce himself on the Ivy Wangeshi murder, DP Ruto says that will help in a big way in reducing the rampant love triangle murders that have currently swept the country by storm. Ivy was laid to rest Thursday at her rural home in Nyeri.
Ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kwa sababu niko hapa Nyeri na singeweza kufika mahali ndugu zangu wametoka. Pia nitoe pole zetu kama serikali na marafiki kwa mtoto Ivy Wangeshi na jamii yake kwa yale yalimpata. Na tujue sisi wote kama wazazi ya kwamba bado tuko na jukumu la kuwashauri watoto wetu, hata wale wameenda katika vyuo vikuu, wavulana, wasichana, na tujue ya kwamba taifa letu la Kenya, hata ingawaje tuko na changamoto nyingi, bado kuna uwezekano wa sisi kama taifa na hasa kama wazazi kuzungumza na watoto wetu, ndio tuwe na hali ambapo watoto wanaweza kujimudu, watoto waweze kuwa ni waadilifu ndio tusipate yale maafa tunayasikia wakati huu. And I want to ask the church to pray for this generation so that our young men and women can be measured in what they do, and they can be safe and they can be protected from all the evil designs that are going on around us.
Now to matters politics, a section of Jubilee leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto have watered down claims that there were factions in the ruling coalition. The leaders, now infamously christened Team Tanga Tanga, say opposition leaders were working hard to create confusion and division with the aim of scalding the party's vision for the country to achieve their selfish ends ahead of the 2022 general election.
We will defend the unity of our party. We will defend the unity of our nation. Hatutawahi kubali kibomolewe na watu wachache.
The leaders, allied to Deputy President William Ruto, seem to maintain the narrative.
Because that is the right thing to do for our nation. Kama the other side wangekuwa wameshinda, sikubali wangekubali kuwe na handshake. Wangerevive kesi ya ICC na mngekuwa huko.
That seems to have rubbed the president the wrong way.
Lakini bado huko watu Raila anavunja Jubilee. Where do we talk about Jubilee? We talk about huko. Uhuru anaingilia mambo ya ODM. I have no clue even who ODM is. I don't know me. I've never. That's a different setup.
They now say they will jealously guard the party that will see the country's second in command rise to power come the year 2022.
Wale wanataka kuhama Jubilee wawili watatu waende wajiunge na wengine sawa, lakini 99.9% tutashikilia Jubilee kwa sababu ni chama cha kuunganisha Wakenya. Those of us who still hold that ideology dear, we shall vigorously and aggressively defend the unity of our party Jubilee.
But speaking at the African Independent Pentecostal Church in Muthiani, Nyeri County,
Watulize boli, mambo bado.
The Deputy President rallied on the leaders to focus on development at the moment and desist from propagating campaign politics.
Namna hiyo, wawache kuzunguka pere. Iko mtihani inakuja, my friends. Hapo mbele, hawa wananchi si wajinga.
Ruto told Jubilee leaders to stop engaging in activities aimed at undermining the implementation of the Big Four agenda as part of the efforts to address the challenges facing the country.
Wananchi wanajua nani wa kufanya kazi, nani wa story. Ama ni aje?
Well, away from matters politics, Kenya Breweries has projected a negative outlook for supply of its raw materials due to effects of drought. According to the brewer, the delayed rains will affect over 45,000 farmers who supply it with barley and sorghum.
The Kenyan unit of East Africa Breweries Limited expects delayed long rains and raising inflation to depress alcohol consumption and reduce disposable income. This, it adds, could see most of its consumers slide back to illicit brews. Kenya Breweries Limited has confirmed that heightened inflationary pressures may depress sales to levels similar to those seen in 2017. Senator Keg, a value brand, targets the bottom of the pyramid and may be the most hit. It was introduced to win consumers from illicit brew, and its gross sales recovered by 12% to 76.4 billion shillings in the half-year ended December last year. EABL registered a 33% growth in half-year net earnings to hit 6.61 billion shillings, driven by strong performance in mainstream spirits, bottled beer and Senator Keg. From Kenya, it posted 1.9 billion shillings net sales from Senator Keg alone. The company, however, says it is working on strategies to caution itself and has set up a risk team to mitigate against drought. So far, KBL has confirmed that the big issue could be in the berry sector, which is very unique and is grown in areas of high altitude and heavy rains. KBL also says that taxes have continued to be a huge hindrance to its effort to channel out affordable and quality beverages. Njeri Njogo for Able TV.
Now going to matters politics, when President Uhuru Kenyatta was sworn in for his second term, he set his 4 agenda as was success would be his legacy in office. 1.5 years in his second and final term, little success has been seen, from corruption to court injunction and endless succession politics. The head of state may just be required to employ more strategies if he is keen on achieving his objective. Pundits, however, argue the agendas may be a mirage going by what is happening. Alan Ochanda has the details.
The Big Four requires that we build on the foundation we laid in my first term. However, I know it will attract cynics and pessimists, but we will not be distracted.
Optimism is what came with President Uhuru Kenyatta's promise to anchor his legacy on the key agendas, namely manufacturing, universal healthcare, affordable housing and food security. 18 months into his second and final term in office, the projects where the 4 agendas are anchored are encountering major hurdles, but for his critics, no soft words can explain the failure.
Talking about achieving it is just a joke, because none of those things, if you wanted to achieve them, you would approach them the way they have approached them. If you wanted to approach food security, there's a way you would approach it. If you wanted to approach housing, there's a way you would approach it. If you wanted to approach industrialization, there's a way you'll do it, perhaps beginning by making sure the country is not a dumping ground for all manner of goods. So there's not a single thing they are serious about, and I don't think they intended it.
President Uhuru Kenyatta only has 2 budgets waiting: 2019-2020, 2020-2021. With those 2 budgets, none of his projects will fly. That's a fact. There is no way any Kenya can afford housing in a very corrupt environment like this one. There is no way food security will be assured when we are stealing money.
Universal healthcare was the first to be directly encroached on by corruption in the infamous Mafia House scandal, where 5.3 billion shillings was allegedly embezzled. Then the affordable housing project that has a court injunction on it. The food security pillar of the 4 agendas could be on its deathbed, occasioned by the prolonged drought, which has exposed poor planning in the agricultural sector. Ground, President Uhuru Kenyatta's. Pundits, however, argue that the projects were designed to mince public money.
These people just want to eat money. You know, just a scheme to it. If you talk about food security, the Gulalu, Kulan, whatever you call it, the Stana project, where is the money that went there?
Stop theft of public money, and then you can build roads, you can give people affordable housing, you can give people, I don't know, universal healthcare, and all those things. Otherwise, I'm afraid to say that President is...
Kenyans already feel malnourished from being overtaxed, exhibiting an unwillingness to withstand any more deductions. Continuous politicking in respect to the presidential succession further complicates his plans, despite getting political insurance from his former erstwhile political nemesis, who is now his bosom friend Raila Odinga.
Assuming the president really was serious about the Big Four, maybe he is, I don't see it myself. Let's give it to him. He wanted to leave a legacy through the Big Four. And yet the people with whom he ought to be working are undermining his effort. Then definitely he will not achieve it. So to that extent, therefore, Tanga could derail his dream, if he had one, which I doubt myself.
County governments have also in the past felt bypassed in the implementation of the Big Four, yet they are the custodians of devolution. Lack of sufficient exploration of a legal framework, lack of sufficient political goodwill, and above all, the dragon of corruption are the main hurdles that the president needs to deal with, or else his much coveted decorated legacy in office remains elusive. Alan Ochanda for Ebri TV.
Well, thank you, Alan, for that fresh perspective on the Big Four agenda. Now, internationally, an Indian voter who says that he had voted for the wrong party in the ongoing Indian national election ended up chopping his finger in an act of self-punishment.
Pawan Kumar, a resident of Buland Shahar in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh, said that he had wanted to vote for the Bahujan Samaj Party, but when he got to the machines, he got confused and instead voted for Bharatiya Janata Party, which is led by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He was so angry that in the act of self-regret decided to chop off the index finger as he could not withstand the indelible ink that reminded him that he had voted for the wrong party. The 2019 Indian general election is currently being held in 7 phases beginning 11th of April to 19th May 2019 to constitute of the 17th Lok Sabha. More than 900 voters are expected to participate. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Bharatiya Janata Party, faces strong challenges from strong regional parties and resurgent Congress Party led by Rahul Gandhi, a scion of the Gandhi family.
Now let's dive into the world of sport, where the Kenya Premier League continues today with one match pitting Kenya Premier League champions Gor Mahia and Kakamega Homeboys. Initially, the match was scheduled to be played on Thursday, April 18th at Bokongo Stadium, but was pushed today to give Gor Mahia enough time to prepare. Gor Mahia was away in Morocco for their CAF Confederation Cup quarter-final return leg match, where they fell to the host Bakken 5-1 and bowed out on a 7-1 aggregate score. Despite playing 4 fewer games, Gor Mahia are in third place with 44 points on the KPL table, point behind leaders Sofapaka and Bandari. Well, now internationally, the Europa results yesterday for the North Londoners, Arsenal and Chelsea, went in a victory, and they have booked themselves for the semi-final. That is where we leave our bulletin this afternoon, but do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 and 9 p.m. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Do join us.